Praise the Lord. I am making this video sort of to Elizabeth. You know, bless your heart, Elizabeth. You really have worked very hard in trying to keep people around you because of a lot about the money. I know that sometimes when I was up there in Idaho with you, there was this one girl in particular, and I can't remember her name, but you were into it with her, and you were calling her all sorts of names and praying prayers, curses over her. Because you looked at me and she said, this woman could cause me much harm. Meaning, money-wise and reputation-wise. You know, I have to say I feel sorry for you. You cannot keep people in underneath your thumb with anger and bitterness. You just can't do it. That's why I walked away. You know, Elizabeth, I still love you. I know you don't want it. I know that if you even come back on and say anything to me, you'll tell me to shove it, you know, where the sun don't shine. But see, I don't ask your permission to forgive you. And I don't ask your permission to even still love you. But I do. But I can't fellowship with you because of so many of the things that you teach your group to do. It's just not biblical. It's not spiritual. And when we look at y'all's 777's tapes and y'all's little one especially, you can see all of that anger and hate and bitterness that's installed into them coming from you, Elizabeth. You're just supposed to be the prophet. And you know what? I see people walking away now. I knew it would happen because you know, Yahshua HaMashiach loves everyone that's in your group. Every one of them. Even y'all's servant 777 and y'all's little one. He loves you all. Every one of you. But in time, he is bringing out people out of that darkness into the light of Yahshua HaMashiach. And you can't walk in darkness and walk in light. You can't spew out hate and bitterness and say all the things that you say in hate and malice of forethought and think that you will get by with it forever. Yahshua is beginning slowly to enlighten people in your group's eyes. They're coming out like Anthony, praise the Lord, and the others. There's others. I can remember Anthony's really name real good. I listened to what he said. Bless his heart. You really did do him wrong. You put too much faith in Yah 777 and you believed every word he said, neglecting Anthony. And the way I best understand it, that Yah 7777 has the same problems that Anthony has. For some reason, you chose to get him a wife. Now, let me tell you a little secret. Guys that are in this pornography thing, really hard and heavy, have a hard time getting out of it. And by getting him a wife, don't mean that he don't sneak around behind his wife's back and still watch it. If he's hooked on it, if he has become an addict to it. What you should have done was pray for them. Pray for Anthony. Try to help him in any way you could have helped him to overcome. It's a battle. I know people. I know people that are really good friends that is an addict when it comes to pornography. It's like a disease that's taken their life and they can't get away from it. So it takes deliverance power to overcome these demons that come in and just kind of like suck the life out of people, men and women. There's women, I guess, hooked on it too. But it's a sad situation when you're too eager to condemn people and drive them away and mistreat them. But you call them your children. Well, Elizabeth, they're not your children. They're grown-ups, or young grown-ups. They are Yahweh's children. And when you put stumbling blocks in their way, when you hurt them, what does Jesus say? It's better for a millstone to be tied around your neck and be cast into the sea. I am strongly praying for all the rest of your group, that they will see the light and come out. But I strongly still pray for you to see the light and come out before it's too late. I know you really got mad at me because I wouldn't leave America and go with you. You really, really got angry with me. And I wanted to go. I did. I really, in myself, I wanted to go. Even thought about going. Even if my husband didn't go with me, I seriously thought about going overseas with you. But the Lord plainly spoke to me, no, that is not my will. And even when you were saying, oh, Barbara, if you don't come, you will be destroyed because it's about to happen. Arkansas and Tennessee and them are going to be destroyed. Well, that was, back in 2005 when I was with you. Back in 2006, when you went on ahead and went overseas, or round about that time, I don't remember the exact timeline, but you called me. You even called me from the airport because you had too much money and they were not going to let you board the plane. So you had to do something with the money to be able to go, because you can only leave the United States to go overseas. I guess at that time 10,000, it's 13,000 now that you can take. and not have to pay duty tax on it when you get over there. You know, I'm really sorry. I'm very sorry that this is happening. That it had to happen. You've got to wake up and see what you're doing. You are destroying lives. You're leading them down a false road. You know, false prophets, false teachers. And all of these prophecies that you gave, that you say have come true, I don't see. I really don't see. Yes, we've had tornadoes that happen. I prophesied that myself because it says so in the Bible. Volcanoes. I prophesied that years ago before I ever met you. But they are things that are going to happen, prescribed by Yahshua's own words in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He told us what was going to happen. And you know, I really feel sad for you because you ran from America and now you're overseas. And great devastation is about to happen over there, especially in the Middle East. I don't know if you're in Ireland. I've heard that you're there. I've heard you've been in Norway. You know, it just does not matter whether I know where you are or not, because God knows exactly where you're at. He knows your address. He knows your phone number. He knows where you're living, period. But let me tell you, there is going to be such a nuclear war over there around the Middle East. It won't be only one atomic warhead going off. There's going to be more than one. And the air is going to become very polluted over in there. And it depends upon which way the wind is blowing that will cover that cloud, wherever, which way it can go. I'm sorry to tell you, you're in a position that, unless you're all the way down in Australia or somewhere way away, that if you're close enough in there in the European area, that nuclear cloud could be carried right over to your spot. Oh yeah, it can be carried over here to America, but by the time it gets here, it's going to be dissipated so much, and the biggest part of it will fall on the oceans before it even gets here to America. And I believe I told you one time, because of you running, when God was saying not, because you were so fearful, because you know you had your son, the police was after you over taking your son back in around 2000, leaving your husband in Illinois, or Indiana, which is it? Illinois, Indiana. Anyway, you left him, ran down to Arkansas, and tried to get a divorce, which it didn't work because you wasn't here for 6 months. A beautiful woman's husband left California, and his wife, who was a virgin when he married her, she adored him. She loved him. And through your conniving, because he had money, a good sized money at that time, you got him come down there, leave his wife, and now God only knows where Chuck's at. since you dropped him off by a filling station in the dead of Alaskan winter. Now, I'm just saying this because you need to look back on what you have done to people in destroying them. You need to look at what you're doing to people right now that's in your, I don't know, clan, covenant, whatever you want to call them. And I know you keep after Pastor George all the time and talk about how evil he is, and Danny. You're so focused on them that you can't see the love of God in either one of those men. See, I took the time to get to know George. Let me tell you, from at the beginning, I seen more in him than all that time I spent with you. I never hear him speak evil of you. I never hear him pray curses upon you. In fact, no, he isn't perfect. He's a human being just like me, like you. But he tries to do his best to reach people, to bring them to Yahshua HaMashiach. He doesn't bully people. He doesn't curse people like you do. He doesn't. That's why I go now to Nehemiah Sitter, and that's why I'm there, because I see Yahshua HaMashiach there, and the true representation of Israel, of the Messianic church, right there. He does things in the Messianic church that you never did. Saturdays, Friday night, I go to the Sabbath day meeting. He preaches the word. You always just taught your prophecies. You'll never know how disappointed I was in that, because I was looking for you to pull out the Bible and really give a teaching. You never did that. But I still loved you. I still backed you. I still uphold you, even though I did not see the fruit that I was looking for. You know, the fruit of Yahshua HaMashiach, I never saw it. Oh yeah, you were loving and kind to me as long as I agreed with you on everything you said. But when the Lord began to reveal things to me and it wasn't in line with what you're saying, you got so angry. And then when I refused not to meet with George, I had to meet with him because I had to look him eye to eye just like I did you. Speak with him just like I did you. Feel his spirit just like I did you. And as I sat there and I talked to George and I prayed and earnestly sought the Lord, that's what changed my mind. Even though you were wanting me to say all sorts of awful things about George before I ever met him. But it says not to judge and not to say things about people that you don't know, okay? But these young people are beginning to wake up. And more of them will wake up and come out. So all I can say to you, it's time for you to wake up and come to Yahshua HaMashiach and walk for Him, teaching His ways, true ways. Because see, that's one of the biggest disagreements that we would have is on Yahshua and His teaching. And I was supposed to believe you and do what you said just because you told me you were a prophet. Well, honestly, Elizabeth, your fruits did not bear the true fruits of the true prophet of Yahshua HaMashiach. And that's who we're supposed to represent today, is Him. And own Him, not ourselves, but Him in the fullness of His love. I believe if you would have really talked with George, and though he may not have always agreed with everything you said, but talked to him in love, you might have been able to agree to disagree on certain things and still walk in the light of Yahshua. So I'm praying for these young people that's coming out, that's seeing the light, the true light of Yahshua, getting the true visions and the true word from Yahshua. I pray for them that they will grow strong and mighty in His word. Not your word, not my word, but His word. And I praise His holy name for bringing these young people out and setting them free in the liberty of Yahshua HaMashiach and His goodness and love. People, if you're part of this mess with Elizabeth, Nicole, Nehemiah, Elijah, whatever she wants to call herself, if you're in league with her, please really begin to seek the Lord yourself. Open the scriptures, read the scriptures, and pray. Then you come to Him and walk like He wants you to walk. I pray for you all. And Elizabeth, why do you want to keep fighting the battle against godly people? Because I believe you know you're going to lose. That's the reason why you're so full of hate. That's the reason why you tried to sue Pastor George. That didn't go nowhere. You prophesied that it would, didn't you? It didn't go nowhere. I told you that. Remember? I told you. That lawsuit was strictly against God. Yahshua does not approve of lawsuits, and I told you it would fail. That came from Yahshua. And guess what? It has. Because you were going against the Ruach Kadesh and against the very words of God. Not only that, many more of your prophecies are going to fail because they come out of your own heart and your own mind. We are in the last days, Elizabeth. World War III is about to begin over in the Middle East. There is going to be much harm over there that's happening soon. Soon. Many people will die over there. I just pray you're not one of them. That you will see the truth in Him before it's too late. So, you got my telephone number. If you ever really need serious prayer, Elizabeth, pick up the phone. Call me. I will pray with you. I will pray for you. Just a phone call away. Blessings. Blessings.